What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Monsters!
All you have left is my desire.
My name is Frankenstein!
Batman's gone mad!
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick!
I ate his liver with some fava beans last night. This is
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive!
Here's Johnny. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror.
Welcome to the debauchery.
What's up, all you horror movie loving fuckers? I'm Jay,
And I'm John.
and welcome back to another episode of Fright Flick Fuck Marry Kill. This is episode number 71 now.
Damn.
71.
Have you always, I don't remember you always putting, have you been mentioning the episode numbers every
No,
time?
I haven't until yesterday when I released the one I just did. I don't forgot the fucking name of it, but it came out. You know, this
What
is
was it,
Friday.
the camp one?
Yeah, the camp one. Like you're listening to this on Friday, so this came out on like Wednesday. Something camp, the camp host.
There you go.
Name of
There
it.
we go.
And when I was uploading it, I normally don't pay attention to the numbers. I just kind of put on like this is episode number, blah blah blah. And then I threw up there when I seen it. I was like, man, 70. Like for me, that's kind of like, you know,
No, that's awesome. I'm looking now and I swear I just never paid attention to the fact that all of them are numbered.
Yeah, I have them numbered except for the ones that I had like special guests. I had Bill Oberst Jr. You know,
Right. You're talking, yeah, so these are main
Mhm.
movie review episodes.
Yeah, so we're looking at like 70. This will be 71, episode 71 of on this show. And that was crazy
Very
because
nice.
just on Facebook they had a pop-up. You know, how to give them little reminders. And sometimes you don't like the reminder. Sometimes when it gives you a reminder, you're just quick, like hide it, don't show
Oh,
it.
yeah.
But
Yeah, that's my instinct.
But like today, I got a reminder. A year ago today, I did Candyland.
Ah,
Which is
good
crazy
one.
because it does not seem like that long ago that I did Candyland.
no.
And but yeah, so episode 71, we're back for another week.
Doing In a Violent Nature.
In a Violent Nature, brand spanking new.
Yes, this one's still in
2024.
some theaters, I believe.
Yeah, still in some theaters, you know. And so this one, a newbie, but hey, there've been some really good numbers for the camp host for it to be out just a couple days. I appreciate everybody who has went and checked it out, who's listened to the shit show. Just a few minutes ago, I got a new alert on my email, got a new subscriber to the YouTube channel, you know. So
Nice.
hey, I appreciate it.
Now I'm curious. I'm like, what are you at there? I'm gonna go check.
I think it's like 55, which is pretty low considering some people, but for me, for you know, being this shit show that this is
57.
oh shit.
Maybe you got some more.
Maybe I did. Maybe I overlooked something because I thought it
there's-
was like 54,
57.
57. But hey,
You know, people can say what they want because most of us we're gonna get what's on the main algorithm. No matter what you're into, there is a main stream of it. Like for the kind of stuff we do, you've got people like Horrible Reviews, who is an OG. You got Unboxed, Watched, and Reviewed, who Tanner's not making videos anymore, but they were fantastic and really some obscure underground shit on that one.
Yeah.
And then you got like newer guys that like Spooky Rice and a few others that, I mean, yeah, their videos do get a few 100,000 plays, but yeah, go find out what like 98%, 97% of all YouTube channels, like what their actual subscriber amount is. And bro, 57 is very, very nice.
Hey,
I'm
well excited. And I'm telling you all right now, people, if you're listening to this show, when we hit 100, there will be a party episode for the week that shit goes. There will be live shots of this guy.
There you go.
Gentleman Jack shots right here on the show. We will be toasting when I hit the big 100 because
Absolutely.
When this thing kicked off a little over a year ago, me flying solo on it, and kind of starting it, and for me now, and I look at it and like, here we are. It's like, yes, a year later, and people would be like, well, you only got like 57 followers. Fuck you. I don't care. It's the fact that I got one person that's willing to tune in, and I know for a fact I got one. My dude Drew, who has commented on every single YouTube channel show that comes out. Drew drops in and gives us a little something.
Right.
So I know every week, Drew, you gonna be there, buddy. And hey, it's for the ones like that are diehards. You, Dylan, Drew, the diehards that have been there since day one when this shit show kind of kicked off. So for me, when you say 57, I'm like, holy shit, that's big to me. And so when I hit 100 people, if we get to 100, there will be live shots taken. I will have the bottle of Gentleman. I will drink straight from the fucking bottle that night.
Oh, there you go. Do it hood style.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't promise you how that show's going to go that night.
What we got to do is we got to think of a movie that you may have had requested a lot, or like a movie that you're just like really something either like batshit fucking out there, like, or something, and figure out maybe we'll do that for episode 100 in celebration. Just something really either, like I said, a really fucked up one, really obscure one, or something that's like really heavily requested that you haven't covered yet. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. So if you can get me to 100 people, it will be a very drunken night. When that episode drops that week, there's I can't promise you that it's going to be pretty,
but it'll be there.
It's going to be.
That'd be great. You release it for 100 subscribers. After you upload it, you go back and you've got like 83 left.
Yeah.
Fuck! What did I post? What did I put up there?
The next day, I may lose some, but as soon as I hit 100, there will be a party episode.
Wait for about 105, so we got some cushion for releasing that episode.
Yeah, I may tune up the next day and be like, man, we did a show because we had 100 subscribers. Next day, I wake up in the morning to do the edit, and to upload it, and my followers are like you said, like 80. I'm like, well, fuck, I lost 20.
Right.
I lost 20 because I was I was so fucking tipsy, I don't remember why and what I said to lose 20, because I've done a couple shows like that already where it's the next day and I'm doing the edit, and it's like listening to it for the first time.
You're like, shit, I wouldn't listen to this show.
Like, what the fuck am I talking about? Because I've noticed when I do a lot of drinking, I have noticed that I repeat a lot of shit when I drink more as I do this show.
You're trying to convince. Yeah, we're just trying to get a point across.
I'm trying to sell it, man. Like, I could tell you, like, it just be, and I've noticed it as I'm doing the edit and I'm listening to it, because I kind of skip through, and I'm like, dude, you just said that 10 minutes ago, and here I am again. I remember like when I did a show, one of the movies that Bill Oberst Jr., my favorite actor, and we could have played a drinking game that night on the amount of times I basically said I love Bill Oberst Jr. Could have played a drinking game. And
the problem is that you say that, and I'm like, I don't know which episode of a Bill Oberst movie that is, because that's usually you the whole time.
The whole time
that you're talking about Bill Oberst.
I know.
Yeah, that's a completely hetero man crush on that dude.
It is what you have. He is the man crush when it comes to horror movies.
He's a goat. He's an undiscovered goat. And like I said, everybody definitely has to, anything he's doing, just go to his IMDb page. I cannot guarantee you'll like every movie he's in.
Yeah.
I would be very willing to guarantee that you will like him in every movie he's in. And so we do agree on that one.
Yes.
But he's not in this movie.
Not in this movie, about, people. No. We
not in A Violent Nature.
Bill Oberst Jr. is not in A Violent Nature 2024 film. I want to give you a quick little read real quick. We're about to dive into this one, because this is the one, if you listen to the last episode, I made a comment on there about the IMDb description of the camp post. I actually posted the description, and there's a word in there I couldn't pronounce, which basically turned me away completely. And I said in that show that you the other day texted me about this movie, and there's a word you threw in there, decisive.
Divisive.
Okay, see, I can't even remember that shit now. That's how hard it was for me. I had to Google that word. I had to Google it. As soon as you sent the message, I Googled that word.
Right.
What the fuck is he talking about? And I hit you up, and I was like, well, thank you for making me learn some shit today, because it was like, I'm not a smart guy. And so, so when we got ready to do this one, I was like, you sent that word out to me. I was like, so when I did the posting for the camp post, I was like, there's that word. I'm just going to copy and paste it because I couldn't pronounce it. But this one is, I got this one off of Wikipedia.
Yeah, read it out.
The camp post was so new, it didn't have a Wikipedia.
Some things are really small and don't get Wikipedias.
Yeah.
Like,
some of them don't get it. And the camp post definitely did not have a Wikipedia, but this one does. In a Violent Nature, 2024 Canadian slasher film written and directed by Chris Nash.
It's a badass name. That's a hard name.
It is. It's a good name.
That sounds like a character Chuck Norris would have played.
It does.
Like Detective Chris Nash.
It takes me back to my wrestling days,
Kevin Nash.
Kevin Nash.
Kevin
Nash.
Yeah. Diesel. Big Daddy Cool. Baby. Yes.
And
life.
Big fan of him. And so when I see that name, that's always what I think of when I see Nash. But part of the thing it says it's described as an ambient. When I hear ambient, I'm thinking the lights turn on. I don't know, because I'm not smart.
Well, there is a such thing as like ambient lighting and stuff like that, but it's more of like kind of the mood of it.
It says ambient slasher. Translate ambient slasher.
So I mean, it's a slasher movie, is what it is, and this is we'll just jump right into it, because this is if you are if you follow horror a lot, which a good bit of our people do, and it's especially smaller horror. There's a lot of smaller horror just getting big plays lately for them. This movie, there's still some theaters it may be in. You can get it on video on demand. Shudder is a Shudder film, but it's not coming to their service until later this year, because it was distributed by IFC Films, the independent film channel, and all that stuff. And it was actually I saw too, it's the second biggest, widest release of a movie for them. And it came in, sorry, it was the widest release of a movie for them as far as theater count. And what it made at the box office, made almost like $5 million at the box office.
Oh wow.
And so once the theaters take their cut, you're walking with about half. So it's a 2.5 million, in the theater. It's going to do way more on streaming and on sales and stuff like that.
Because I bought it. I bought it on Amazon, because like I said, for me, when it comes to Amazon, when they give me the rent price and they give me the buy price, I'm going to buy it, because
it's usually too close.
Yeah, it's so close. And so I bought it. And
when what they're doing, I'm like, yes, I'll give you $3 more to own it forever.
Exactly.
Or until you guys don't let me have it anymore.
Yeah. So when I push play on it and it starts showing like Shudder Original, I'm like, wait a minute, I could fucking watch this on Shudder. But then I looked at it, and like you said, it's coming out later on Shudder. And so, Amazon gets me every fucking time with that, like, rent it for $12, buy it for $14. Bitch, I'm buying it for $2 more. Like,
they know what they're doing. 100%.
They know there's a sucker out there like me that sees that, and I jump all over it. They know like Jay's out there. If we throw this bitch up there for $2 more, Jay's gonna buy it.
Yeah, he'll just go ahead and buy it. And because I've already been like looking to see if there was like a physical pre-order release out there. There's not on Amazon though. So I'm waiting to see about that, because I do want to be able to support it regardless of where my grade goes to it, because this one, to me, I think if you look at the online, like it's one of those where you can't pay attention to the critic reviews. The critics are very high on this film. It kind of gives me, and no way the same type of movie, but it gives me the Skinamarink vibes, where for a while, for a little bit there, Skinamarink was the talk of
a gun out of my cabinet.
I know, and that movie should be in the dictionary next to the word divisive.
Yeah, suicidal next to it.
may cause permanent depression. Which again was a movie I liked.
Yeah.
But completely could see where someone wouldn't. But everyone was high on that movie, and it was really getting talked about a lot, like on sites and stuff like that. It was like the next big thing, and it did very well at the box office for it. In a Violent Nature, it's kind of like that now. And this is Chris Nash, the director. This is his very first feature-length film. He's done a lot of short films himself, and he's very big in effects. And he was like the main creature effect guy for this movie right here.
Oh, I love that movie.
Psycho Gorman.
So good.
But this is his first time directing a feature-length movie, and I want to try to hold our what people think we're going to give this movie as far to the end as possible. So, like, do you want to go ahead and just start? We're gonna hold up to the end. Yeah, so let's start. You want to go ahead and start breaking like the plot down again. Spoilers, everybody. No matter what we say, we rate this thing. We always encourage you, go out and watch it and decide for yourself, particularly when it's small time horror like this. Again, some people hear, oh, IFC, that's, it went in almost 1,500 theaters. That's fine. So did Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I think it did like over 1,000 theaters. Terrifier, 2. But they still need the support.
Speaking of kind of off topic, right quick, because I seen this online last night that Blood and Honey 3 is already in the works.
So have they released 2 yet?
No, I haven't seen anything on 2, but I did read something last night that 3 is already in the works. And I'm looking forward to the second one because I got a feeling they're going to step it up. I got a feeling.
Well, isn't like Tigger in this one?
I hope so.
I thought there was more characters that were going to be there. Maybe I think there's a teaser online, a teaser trailer or something.
I thought for what that they killed that fucking Tigger off. I thought in the first one they killed him off because they were starving.
You're right. That's where they describe, because I really like that animated scene where they did. I thought that was really cool how they did that. But yeah, so we should have you reviewed that one by yourself.
I did the very first one. Yeah. As soon as the second one comes out, I'm definitely going to be talking about that one.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
absolutely.
So, in a Violent Nature, as it gave us this reading, described as an ambient slasher. It follows a mute killer who is accidentally resurrected from his grave out in the wilderness by a group of teenagers. Of course, it's going to be some fucking teenagers fucking shit.
And of course, all the actors looked at least 25 and older. I did not know these were supposed to be teenagers until you just said that. I thought this was a group of young adult friends, like maybe even rekindling. High school's been over for a few years. They're trying to get back together and have a camping weekend.
Yeah, they're
not teenagers.
Some of those losers that still hold on to that high school feeling to where they want to get back together with them. But yeah, apparently in the description, it shows teenagers, but like I said, none of these motherfuckers look like teenagers to me.
No.
Every one of them got early 20s. Everyone. Yeah.
I can easily imagine one or two of them, because there's no kids there and nobody's married. But there's like one couple. But you can imagine that some of the other guys, like, they have a kid, like it didn't work out with the mom, like, these people easily looked in their early 20s. So that's per Wikipedia, they're supposed to be teenagers.
Yeah,
so I'm not knocking the film.
Wikipedia says teenagers.
Yeah,
but when you see them,
teenagers.
No, when you see them and they're talking, you're like, you're not teenagers. You're still holding on to the old high school glory days, and you're still trying to relive it. And basically, like I said, they resurrect this dude from his grave by a group of teenagers, and then he's going to begin stalking and murdering. Straight from the IMDb right there. I'm like you on this one. It was like, we're going to wait till later on to give our review because
it's really the whole time too. And we were originally going to record. Today is Wednesday. This will come out on Friday. So if you're watching this on Friday, we recorded this Wednesday evening. We were going to do it Tuesday evening. I watched it, I believe, the previous Friday or Saturday night, and that's when I told you about it.
Yep.
And I had been reading and seeing about it, and I was like, you know what? I was like, and I was honestly like, oh, is it on Shudder? And it's not. And I was like, all right, well, okay, cool, screw it. Let's still do it. It took me forever to even decide on a rating for it, and then trying to think about how to talk about it, because I feel like the only way to really talk about this movie is to. It is at its heart, it is a very basic ass slasher movie.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And you see a lot of negative reviews towards this thing online, talk shit about it for that.
Yep.
But it is. The difference here is that this time you are with the killer. The killer's not popping up. You're not in a first person perspective. You're behind, and you're behind this motherfucker a lot.
A lot, people.
A lot, and that's going to get to another massive thing that people have with this. Yeah. And when we get to that, I think you'll agree. Further gives it kind of a comparison to Skinamarink, as far as the ambient horror. There you go. If you want another example, that's Skinamarink. Ambient horror. It's a vibe. It's a thing that's put out there through the filming and everything like that. And I'm sure I'm butchering that, but that's what it means to me. Everybody else can fuck off. There's more intelligent shows out there.
Go listen to them after you give us 7 or 8 minutes of your time.
Yes. But it's tough because it's this movie, man. Like I'll just say everything. There's some stuff that it did good, and I really thought it did it very, very good. And then there's some stuff that it did bad, that it did really, really bad. And it's this one, man. Do you see where a lot of people would not be able to possibly make it through this movie?
Yes, because there are parts to where, like you said earlier, you follow this dude as he's walking.
Did you think I thought for a second that my movie had fucked up in the beginning, where they're showing the cabin where the locket's dangling. Yeah. For the longest time, like nothing changed, and then finally, like some noises started.
Yeah,
coming,
that
and then
very
finally
beginning,
people started talking.
Yeah,
and I was like, "What the fuck?" Okay, and so there's a locket hanging on this broken piece of cabin. I think it's a fire tower. It was supposed to be, and one of the dickhead teenagers grabs it, and then they leave. Just sees this gold locket, grabs it, and leaves. They're in the middle of the woods. I guess go back to their campsite, and then that's when what is it, Johnny? Which any name of that, because I was just thinking little Johnny the whole time, and this is a fucking freakazoid, resurrected monster human fucking thing.
Yeah, because when it starts off, you hear these voices of these guys out in the woods, and they're talking, and they come across this gold necklace or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah.
And like you said, I think his name was Troy. And they had such the typical asshole names in this movie, like Troy, Johnny,
Chris, Colt.
Yeah, you're going to fucking die, dude. You don't have a name that's going to get you to the end of this movie. You don't have it. Like me, as the name of my first name's Christopher. Chris, we're dying early, baby. We ain't gonna make it to the end. We don't have.
There's a Chris in this, but that's the main girl, and it's Kris.
Yeah, she's the exception.
Yeah, but you don't really get. I mean, I'm sure the names are drop in. You can't hear everything.
No.
So when I say you're with the killer, the only time the plot advances is when the killer comes up on people, and you're kind of, again, part of the ambient thing. This part with hearing, you're hearing the conversations about as good as he is going to. Now he's pretty close and stuff like that, and that's cool. But yeah, I guess that's why the in the beginning scene they're supposed to be approaching the cabin, I guess, while they're walking and talking, so the volume slowly gets up and stuff like that. But
the thing that got me in the beginning Well, and like I said, we've already told you we're gonna spoil the shit out of this thing, people. Like if you don't want
Absolutely.
spoilers, then pause it,
Absolutely.
go watch it, come back. We're gonna spoil it. But in the beginning, the thing that got me was like, the people send the necklace, the locket, or whatever, they take it, But what got me was it was odd because you start hearing this kind of like gurgling noise.
Yeah.
And there's a stick sticking up out of the ground. And
was it a stick or a pipe?
that's what I couldn't figure out. Was it a pipe? Was this motherfucker breathing through the pipe?
That's because
like,
but
is he supposed to be dead? Or is he
Yeah.
alive? Because it looks to me like he's using this pipe to breathe.
yeah, I mean, all the descriptions and stuff I read, like IMDb, Wiki, stuff like that, they say it's a corpse, that he came back to life. So yeah, I kind of thought that at first. I was like, is that like an air pipe? Like, is this motherfucker like buried under there? And like, are they just like shooting down food and that's how he's breathing and shit? Like, but yeah, he's supposed to be dead.
In the notes that I took after they took the necklace and shit, I even put in my notes. I was like, was the necklace keeping him in the ground? Was that necklace hanging there? Is that the thing that was keeping him in place? And you will come to find out that yes, it is the necklace.
Yeah.
that was keeping his ass in the ground, and they there's and this thing. I don't
and it's hilarious that it's actually leaving us quiet, because I'm gonna go. I guess the best thing is just to jump into really what the biggest complaint with this movie is. It's the biggest complaints you're gonna read anywhere online. It's my biggest complaint with this movie. This movie is it's a little over 90 minutes. I think it's at 94 minutes. I remember looking this up while trying over the past few days to figure out what the fuck I thought about this movie.
You did better than me. I didn't look at the timing at all.
Because I was so fucking, dude, it was one of those. I was like, it could have been 90 minutes. It could have easily been over 2 hours. This movie feels very, very long. And one of the things that, and so the behind scene, so you literally follow behind the killer as he goes from scene to scene. So he's resurrected, and I can break the plot down for you real quick. He walks a lot. You are from behind watching him walk through multiple things. He comes across a farmhouse. He thinks that one of the guys there has the necklace because it looks similar, kills that guy. Then he comes across, then he walks some more, and you watch him walk, and the scenes change. There's no music, by the way. This was done intentional, no music. I read that on there. He wanted it to be almost like real nature sounds, like almost like a documentary.
Okay.
So if for anyone who knows of like the movie Man Bites Dog, and then there's something about with Leslie Vernon. Those movies are kind of like mockumentaries with serial killers. This is basically like a documentary if you were able to just walk behind Jason Voorhees or any typical slasher.
That's what I felt like watching it. I was like, this felt like if you were following Jason and watching him do all the Jason movies and him peeking around the bush and shit.
Yeah, you're seeing what Jason would see, not from a first person. So I did like that you were behind him.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like trying to do that. And then once he would get to the location where, like, when he comes across the campfire where the people are talking, people stole his locket, he's near, he lets you see how close he gets hidden in the bushes, but then the camera just cuts like a normal camera at the conversation at the campfire, and then sometimes it'll cut back to being behind Johnny. The killer, I don't know the name Johnny. I was just like, really, like, come on, man, any other name?
Yeah, any other name, but you had to.
I got a plain ass John derivative name.
Yeah, I didn't like the name. They could have given
there was no horror. There was no feeling to it. I'm like, oh no, here comes John. Like Jason sounds cooler compared to Johnny. Yeah.
As soon as they say Johnny, I'm like, really? Like, y'all couldn't get like a little bit more.
Little Johnny, who they kind of basically, because when they're at the campfires, when they tell the tale of how he died, that he was like, it was some kind of mining thing. He was the people that were at the work site didn't like him, lured him up to a fire tower.
Slaughter. That's the story.
There you go.
Slaughter.
Yeah, they trick him up to a watchtower, telling him there's toys up there, and then there's someone waiting to scare him, and they're scaring a kid, and he falls to his death. But they say it's like a kid. This is a full-grown ass man.
Yeah,
did he keep growing as a corpse?
Exactly. Like, was he in the ground getting older and taller and bigger? Because like he's still playing with toys, you know.
Yes.
I'm thinking
so it kind of seems like he's a simpleton, like a retard. Like,
there you go. I appreciate you saying that word on this show. I appreciate you.
Hey, I know where I'm at. I know my people.
You damn right.
Everybody knows what I mean. This dude he's like a mongoloid, dude. He's like a big brute, very simple. And it's like you said, he finds little things that triggers memories and he plays with them. He's very childlike and he's a massive fucking killer and he's very, very powerful.
I thought the same thing when he came up out of the ground, and then you kind of started putting the story together. Once you hear about the White Pine killer or whatever, and I'm like, then they bring these loggers, these local loggers are in the town, and they basically trick him into going up into the fire tower, saying there's toys up there. When I hear toys, you're in that 10, 11, 12.
Absolutely, 9, 10, because they got to be old enough to be able to make that climb.
Yeah,
First of all, they're talking about a fire tower, an old one. You're talking about a straight up ladder climb, pretty high.
Yeah.
And you're tricking him into that. And they're saying that he was causing all kinds of problems around the work site, being mischievous. Well, I mean, it's a fucking they're lumberjacking trees. So you definitely wouldn't think that a small kid would be running around unsupervised. So I'm going to assume that he was a child in mind. We're talking like Lenny from Of Mice and Men. He's like the big ass brute who's got the mind of like a 10-year-old.
Yeah, we got us a fucking sling blade here, people.
There you go.
Goes up in the tower. These loggers have drew him up there saying there's toys. Some shit goes down. He gets kind of thrown off the tower. But yeah, like you said, and so I'm thinking super young, but yet when big boy comes out of the fucking ground, he's a grown ass fucking dude.
He looks like a wrestler.
Yeah, and I'm just like, do you grow in the afterlife? Like, is there, do you keep getting older? I don't fucking know. And
that's why I kind of had to figure that, because I mean, there was one time where somebody at the campfire kind of is like, he was slow or something like that, because they talk about saying the word retarded.
They didn't want to say the R word. They didn't want to. Yeah,
he's like, I'm going to get canceled. You're going to cancel me and shit like that.
Because when he's beating around the bush, I'm talking to the TV screen as I'm watching it. He's beating around the bush. I'm like, call him a fucking retard. That's what the fuck you're trying to say.
He's retarded, dude. Like, that's what that word meant. Like, I'm not even trying to be mean here. He's retarded, which was short for mental retardation. And yeah, dude. But yeah, you go to the campfire and you do that and you walk and you go to this scene and you walk and I would love to know on a time breakdown what percentage of this movie are you behind watching this killer's ass while he walks through various scenes? Beautifully shot scenes.
It is. The area they're at is not bad at all.
No, there's so many good behind shots. There's one later in the movie where the main girl, Chris, is running through the woods. It is shot very dark. Yeah. How they pulled that off, very, very well done, because I'm surprised they weren't if they were winging it, they got lucky. They didn't just run right into a fucking tree.
Yeah.
But I could appreciate the shots, and they could have been like half the fucking time.
Yeah, because in my notes, as I'm taking notes when they're at the
I would love to hear some more of your notes, because I didn't take notes. I don't usually do that. I just pull it. So I would love, because I don't know how to go about talking about this much more.
Yeah,
without just So let's get some thoughts from the mind of Jay while this was taking place.
Listen to the greatness of me.
We should have some theme music or something right now.
If I was smart enough when it comes to digital type shit, there'd be some cool music come in right now.
You just get like a deep voice, like, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the mind of Jay.
Jay's about to drop some science on you.
Golf clap, and you just fucking So I want to hear these notes, because I'm going to chime in on it.
And then in my little notes, because I do the voice to text type thing. And so when I do that, I have to go back and kind of interpret what Apple takes my voice and puts it on the notes are. But one of the things I put on there, like, because there comes a point once the dude comes out of the ground, I'm kind of questioning the fact that it looks like he had a breathing tube the whole time. He comes out of the ground. He's a grown ass looking man. And like we just talked about, was he young when he died? I don't fucking know. But later on, they're at the campsite. The teenagers, rabbit ears people, I'm giving you the rabbit ears. Teenagers.
Per Wikipedia, at least.
Per Wikipedia says they're teenagers. They are not. They're all hanging around the campfire. And the type of movies like this, they kind of right out of the gate, you're already picking out the ones that are like, you're an asshole, you're a piece of shit, you
want you to die. Ready to see how you die. You're definitely dying. I don't want to see how that looks.
Yes. And so it's kind of giving you that feel. And they're sitting around the fire and they're talking about the stuff. And one of the chick, she comes out and makes a comment about a proposal. She thought that her boyfriend had her out there to propose.
This is Troy and Chris, by the way. Chris is really about the only one that she's your final girl. That's dead. That's very obvious. That's not even a spoiler. That's obvious.
No, you pick up on it right out of the gate.
Yep. And her boyfriend Troy is the one who stole the locket.
Yep.
And he gave it to Chris. So Chris is wearing the locket. So you already know she's your final girl when you see that shit. Go ahead.
You know what's coming. And one of the things that like she mentions to him about it, he was just like, "Oh, I got your engagement behind my zipper." Who the fuck says that?
A teenager would, but this dude looked to easily be in his mid-20s.
What the fuck? As soon as he said it, I was like, if I went doing a show on this week, I'd be tempted to turn you the fuck off. Because who the fuck gets on there when she said, "I thought you were going to be engaged. I got your engagement behind my zipper."
Right here.
You fucking dumbass fucking
are you wearing a cock ring? Are you telling me everyone? That'd be, if I was at the fire, I'd be like, "Dude, are you here with us wearing a cock ring?"
Yeah.
Because otherwise your jokes doesn't even make sense. Yeah. Is your penis circular?
It was just so fucking stupid sounding because it was like you were trying to. It was one of those moments in the movie where I thought you were trying way too hard to I don't know. I just didn't like it. And they're telling the story. And at some point, one of the guys at the campsite, he's like, "I got this scary story." They're like, "Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to tell it." And that's one of the parts, I put in my notes. I was like, I said, he was like the boy that was slow. And this is Apple interpreting what my country ass is saying.
Oh God, what did
Apple
Siri
says
think?
He was like the boy was slow, and you can tell they don't want to say the retard word because basically trying to beat around the bush and say we know what you're trying to say when they start talking about some cancel culture shit because the dude was out in the middle of the woods. And he starts bringing up like, cancel culture. Who the fuck's listening to you in the woods, dude? Like
it's just you and your friends.
Yeah, if you want to get out there and just say you're we got this fucking mongoloid retard that died in the woods, who cares? But it was like
no, and I get that because of, and that's where this movie feels like 3 different movies just anger banging because they don't, like it's,
you had me at banging
anger. Yeah. It's like nobody's having fun. They don't even like each other. There was nobody else. Dude. Yes.
This campfire sucks.
But like the movie is just, it's this art house movie when you're walking behind the killer in the woods and through the woods.
Yeah.
It's shot that way. The sound decisions, the scenery, the way they're very beautiful shots, but they go on for a very long time. And it's supposed to be there to help build tension, but also to be like, that kind of thing. Then everything that comes down to the plot, like you were saying with the people at the campfire, everything that goes on with the actual plot of the people that he's killing is so generic. It is insanely generic. You already see what characters what when you're at the bonfire. Yeah. Oh, there's the final girl. There's her douchebag boyfriend. There's his best friend. There's the stoner. There's the guy friend that nobody seems to like, so maybe he's a threat to the asshole. Then there's the two lesbian chicks. Like, dude, it's
the lesbian thing threw me.
It was out of fucking nowhere. I don't give a fuck, but like, again, that was one of those where I'm like, you're trying to have like a deeper plot because like apparently like maybe they used to date or something, and
I don't know.
But at the same time, it's so generic and everything where you're getting again is you get these art house shots, and that's the thing. If you watch the trailers, that's what they're showing a lot of.
And that's why I'm not a fan of done. Like when you hit me up the name of the movie, I didn't watch the trailer or anything. I was like, when you hit me
you
up,
went in completely dead to it.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
I had no idea what it was about. So when you hit me up with the title, I just pulled it up on Amazon and I found it on Amazon. I was like, fuck, let's watch it. So I have not watched any trailers or anything. And so I went into it completely blind. But like you said, it was almost like checking all the boxes. Like, did we get no cell phone service? Yes, check that box. Did we get the douchebag that you could pick out from a mile away that he was going to be the dead one first? Yep, we got that check. Because it gives you that, like, the almost kind of like the high pot head smoking motherfucker in these movies, you can pick him out a mile away. And so when he died, I will give it this: when it gets to the point to where we get ready to kill the little pothead motherfucker, decides that they all joking and they're joking with him because they're all at the cabin. They decided to call. I thought they were camping out when I first started watching this. I thought they were camping out.
Yeah,
had tents like camping out. No, they were in a little cabin. So when the dude comes out, he was like, kind of walks out, and then the girl's talking. The other dude walks up. They start almost like picking on him because they'd met some girls earlier on, apparently at the gas station. They're like, "Oh, you're going to go," and it got so fucking cheesy because it's like the shit they're saying. It comes across as teenagerish. I don't know if that's
and that's why I think Wikipedia, whoever did the wiki article, may have just assumed because they were like, well, very juvenile conversations going on, and like I said, maybe they were supposed to be, teenagers, 18, 19. Whatever. It doesn't change anything, but I think you're getting to the spot now where I think now we definitely, in my opinion, we get to some good shit about this movie. We're talking the kills.
Yeah, I love some kills.
So this one, when he goes, the first place that there's a kill is where they're at the killer's at that farmhouse. He sees the guy, thinks he has the necklace locket thing, kills that guy. Nothing really brutal about it. Nothing at all.
The thing about it, when he kills the first guy killed is the one you think of as like the high pothead type dude.
I'm talking about when he's at the farmhouse before he even finds him at the campsite.
Oh, you're talking about the guy that he like dragged his eyes out.
Well,
okay.
Well, yeah, but they didn't really show much or anything.
Yeah,
they didn't show the bear trap part and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right.
When he gets to starting to kill the teenagers, which is where you had brought us up to with the pothead's like, I'm not meeting the girls, we're gonna go take a shit. Goes to do that. Comes out. He literally was just going to take a shit, leaves the bathroom out, starts getting ready to smoke some.
What kind of cabin are you staying in that does not have, like, the cabin had electricity? It looked like, a nice of a cabin as that was. If it had electricity, you would think that it would be some type of bathroom type shit.
So that's actually a really good point that I did not think of at the time. That there's the cabin, and then but he goes somewhere else or did he go to the cabin to take a shit?
No, he
Maybe
leaves
that
the
was the
cabin. He
cabin.
walks out of the cabin on the porch with the girl that was smoking.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. So there's a bathroom outside there, but it kind of gave off the vibe of like the communal bathrooms you'd see at like a big campground.
Yeah.
Like I said, I live in Myrtle Beach, like the RV parks and stuff here.
Yeah,
They do
yeah,
have bathrooms in them, but you can camp and there are communal bathrooms on every little block of, whatever. So, but there's a lot of people nearby. If there is one of those, why do they have one of those? But I mean, a lot of shit goes down at that area. Somebody would have been nearby and would have seen and heard all this shit go down.
Yeah, like I'm thinking to myself, if they're staying someplace to where there's a nice enough cabin, to where this fucking place has electricity and everything like that, there's something nearby that I just feel like it should not be where this dude walks out and they're like joking with him, like, "Oh, you're going to go fuck them. You're going to put something inside them girls." That was at the gas station. And
I guess they would at the same campground, but they're just really spread out. And that could be fine. But then why would the site have a communal bathroom when they're spread out? There would be a bathroom in the cabin.
And then you don't even really get a side of like a bathroom area, because at some point, the one dude and the girl on the porch are smoking. And he's like, "Hey, do you want to see something really cool?" And she's like, "Well, hell yeah." And I'm like,
yeah.
But then they don't even show you that. Like she gets all excited about, like, "I want to see this." You don't see none of that. And then we get us a camera shot from behind her killer walking through fucking wood.
And that's why you don't see it, because the killer's not seeing it yet.
Yeah, maybe.
But there's sometimes you can see stuff that the killer's not there for. The rules are a little loose when it comes to that. Overall, he tries to only show you what the killer would be around for, even though the perspective isn't, the killer's not on screen the whole time. You're not just watching from behind and shit like that.
That makes more sense.
The kills, though. The kills. How did you feel about the kills in this movie?
Mwah.
Okay.
Love them.
So there was a few kills in this where I'm genuinely curious how he did it.
Hey, when we get to the scene, I have some issues with that. The one that everybody's talking about.
Yes. I say let's get to it, because the stoner kill's pretty cool. It's one of those knives with the two handles. People that carve wood, they run them. It just kind of strips wood. He gets him leaning up against the tree, gets that around to the front, cuts him like that. I thought that looked dope.
It did. That kill to me was good. It had him in the mouth. And the part of it afterwards that I liked was he shows up at the ranger station. Our killer does.
Yes.
He comes out of the wood, still dragging the body of the stoner dude.
Yeah.
And he's got his head in one hand.
The head top, the top teeth is up.
Yeah, the top up, where he puts that saw in his mouth and chops him off. If you can imagine a saw being in your mouth and ripping him from the corner of your lips back, chops his head off.
Well, see, this isn't even like there's no serrated to it. Remember, it's just a blunt edge.
Yeah.
He had to like force pull that shit through. It was gnarly. It was good.
And the cool part was like the stoner dude had some headphones in.
Yeah.
And the music he's listening to, you can hear it, because once everything goes down, it's no longer plugged in. So you can hear the music. The music's playing. He kind of rolls up on the ranger station. He's still dragging the body. He's got half of the head in his hand, kind of goes into the ranger station. So yeah, as soon as they had that first kill, all the other, I looked at it as like the dumb shit that may have happened prior. You've brought me back a little bit.
You're like, all right, here we go.
You brought me back with the cool kill, because I'm fucked up in the head. So when that happened,
and it basically keeps going from there.
It does.
Once that happens, it's fucking on.
Oh yeah, it's full throttle.
But you still have a lot of walking. You still watch this motherfucker. People. It's literally motherfucker. He walks for a few minutes in different scenes, gets to the next plot point section, kills some people, does some
Yeah.
shit, and then you keep walking. But it's
because it all comes together. The part where you start figuring it out, because they tell the story. When you listen to the story they tell at the fireside earlier
yeah,
about the White Pine Killer. Well, then when he gets to the ranger station, he goes up in there. He puts on this firefighter mask. He's got these
creepy
hooks.
looking old firefighter.
Oh yeah,
mask.
he's got the hatchet and shit. And so then it
Some
all kind of
hooks.
comes together.
Yeah.
And then when he leaves the fire station, the other part that got me was when the lesbian thing come out. That's what kind of I wasn't, because
when they're at the lake.
Yes, they come out of the lake to
this is the next morning. They're at the lake. By the way, the stoner guy has not come back from taking a shit. So you know what? Maybe that's why they put that scene in there about him meeting up with the girls, as to why no one thought about him not being there, because they were like, yeah, he said he had to go take a shit. He went to go find those girls' campsite. Must have got lucky.
Because I'm sitting there asking that question as I'm watching it. When the lesbian thing kicks off, and in my mind, and even in my notes, I put, you got some shitty ass friends.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck about you. But then when you said that, it makes sense. Maybe they looked at like he did go chasing some tail. And he did
lied.
He went after these girls. And so that's why they didn't care. But then the next morning, you see these two girls come out on the little dock on the water.
And I'll give you the names, because their names are terrible. Aurora and Brody.
Who the fuck?
I know. I am not a big fan of the different character names in this movie, but whatever. But this one, the first scene, I forget which one it is. The one, they're kind of flirting and shit. One of them jumps in and is swimming. The other one's like, no, I'm going to go do my yoga thing. It's whatever. And then maybe, she's like, maybe come find me and, we'll finger bang and shit like that.
She did. She gave her a little something, because when she jumps in the water, the one girl's trying to get her to come in the water with her. And she's like, no, I thought we were just here to do some yoga. And there was something there between these girls. This was not the first time.
No,
that this has come up. There's been some lesbian thought process at some point, because you just don't show up at a campsite one night and then all of a sudden you're itching to eat the beaver. This wasn't like there was nothing about a buildup of like like the one girl wanting to like I've been curious, shit like that. There was some stuff there. No,
but so before we talk about the main kill, I liked. So where the girl's in the water, he kills her by simply drowning her. I liked it,
but
the biggest reason.
I did like the fact, because the next morning he walked out and he's watching these two girls on the little dock or whatever.
Yes,
and he just like, I like the way he kind of like puts his hatchet down. He puts his hatchet into like this like stump. He throws the hatchet down like. It almost gave that feeling like, I gotta go fuck this bitch up real quick, but I'll be right back. I'm gonna be right back. I don't need my axe for this one. I'm gonna fuck this bitch up.
I'm gonna drown her.
Let me put my axe right here. He just puts his axe down, and when he walks in the water, he goes like under the water. So like,
he's dead. He's a supernatural creature.
Yeah, he's not a human.
And all kinds of dead. Jason vibes there too.
Yes. And they walk. He goes. He walks out into the water. Goes under the water, making his way toward the girl who has jumped in. The other girl is like, I'm going to do my yoga stretching. If you want to come find me later.
And she said, you can help me stretch.
Yeah, and I'm like,
stretch me a little further. And I'm like, oh shit, they're gonna fist.
I got a little excited right then, because I was like, okay, two things are about to happen that are going to make this movie okay with in my point of view. You're going to, one, give me some girl on girl action. Check that box. Kudos to you. And when you said stretch me out, my mind automatically goes into the gutter. I'm just
yeah. That's we're about to get, oh shit, stretch out, like you're just gonna.
Yeah, we're about to get real sexual right now, and I'm okay. Right. I was here for it.
Yeah.
And, so when he goes,
but she stayed in the water.
She did.
She played it cool. I'll give her props. She played it a little cool. Was like, I'll give her a few minutes.
But I wish I thought the point, and I thought the little thing out of the water maybe could have been a little bit more, because there really wasn't nothing to it. It was just like she yells, pulls her under, she kind of tries to yell again, kind of pulls her under, and then it was over. And I'm just like,
the thing I liked about it though was that it was a single shot, and so I'm guessing the actress who did that is probably pretty good at holding her breath.
she had to be.
So that's what I thought was cool about it, because there wasn't a lot of jump cutting, and you would have imagined that like they would tend to overdo it because he's just holding her under to drown her.
Yeah.
With like a lot of splashing and shit like that. No, like that motherfucker walked in, so we're like assuming he's like dead weight on the floor, like he's walking on across the lake bottom, and so he's just holding her under until she stops. But none of that matters when he's done with her and goes and finds the other girl who is at a cliff side.
We could do a whole show on just this kill scene alone.
So I'm go ahead. I'm gonna pull up the text I sent you that got you to be like, "Fuck yeah, we're gonna do this." Because I
told you, man, I got a little chubby when you kind of told me about it, and when I watched it for the first time, he's killed the girl in the water. At this point, the lady who says, "I'm going to go," maybe you can find me later, help me stretch out type shit. She totally threw that lesbian bait out into the water. You knew it was coming. Well, he gets done killing the girl in the water. He comes walking out of the water, and he's walking towards her. He's coming down this road. You see her in the distance stretching, like she's got a yoga mat and everything.
And this was like one of those behind his shots where you're like, fuck yeah. This one built the tension because you could see her out there.
Yeah.
So this was one of those where it was like, all right, this walk was slow and long, but it was perfect because you just see her. Her back's to him. This was an awesome walk shot.
And apparently this bitch has no peripheral vision at all, because she don't see shit coming until
and she thinks it's the girl.
Yeah,
she's
just
trying to play
it's
cute
the girl
back.
coming out there to handle the beaver. She just thinks she's out there to okay. So she hears he's walking and he steps on a stick. And when he steps on that stick, she automatically kind of turns.
Yeah.
Like
it was like a twitch reaction.
It did. And, it's like she instantly thought okay, here we go. And the part that kind of got me was when he walks up on her and she turns and sees him.
Yes.
She sees him standing there, creepy.
Because he's a few feet away from her still at this point.
Yeah.
He's not within arm's reach or anything.
No. And she sees him. And the part that made me kind of be like, what was odd to me was like when she kind of ran, but then she kind of gets to the edge and she just stops and she stands there. And it was almost like that part, as good as what we're about to talk about, is coming up. But when she kind of stops and he kind of comes up behind her, and it's just like, do you know him? Like, it was just this creepy, I know you, go ahead and have your way with me type thing.
I could see that. When she first runs to the cliff, it shows her look down, like she's right over about to fall. I thought that because immediately in my head, I'm just like, all right, because obviously I've seen what this guy can do and what he's gonna do. And it's safe to, she should assume the same thing. I'm like, all right, certain death behind me with this big dude, or possible death. I'm jumping. It was sloped too, so I would have tried to have done something to slide and roll or something like that.
Dude,
but she kind of froze. Maybe that's what they were trying to get across, was that she was thinking about doing that but didn't have the nerve.
Yeah, and
then he got her.
I got even more annoyed when everything is said and done. He kind of pushes her off the edge.
Yeah,
when she goes down this little half-ass slope, it wasn't steep. It wasn't straight down. It wasn't like if you jump, you were going to die.
No, there was a good chance that you could have lived. I'm not going to say you may not break a leg or something like that, but there's a good chance you're just going to get scraped up a good bit.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was
like I said,
down.
No, it wasn't. Yeah,
that's what got me. When she got to the edge and looked down, in the beginning of it, you're thinking, okay, it's just this drop off. And so, and then when everything's done, and then you see it, and I'm just like, bitch, you could have risked it.
Yeah,
you could have been like,
you could have very likely survived that.
Yeah, I'm going to take my chances now. We're going to get back.
The only thing I could think before we go actually into the kill that maybe it was supposed to seem like she was going to do that, and he got up to her quickly, but in that case, the way it was edited, it made it seem longer.
Yeah,
like she had a few seconds to really think about it, and then maybe she just didn't have the nerve. But go ahead, man. This is I got the text. This is what we had talked about it a little bit, and you were like, "Oh, I'm looking forward to watching it. I don't even know what it's about. I haven't even looked at the trailer for it." And I was like, "The trailer won't prepare you. This is one of the most original things I've seen in a bit, but I still don't know if that is a good thing or bad thing. But be prepared for gore. One kill may be the most fucked up thing I've seen in a long time." And I stand by that. And this was the biggest spoiler of anybody if you don't want to. Because this is what people, when they're talking about the gore, there is plenty of gore. But this is, if you've seen Terrifier 2, the bedroom scene.
Yeah.
This is it. This is the newborn scene or the ending scene in a Serbian film. This is I find it to be a fucked up scene because I can only describe it as a Mortal Kombat type kill.
There you go.
Cannot work. I can't imagine it could really happen, but it looks like it really could happen.
Yeah. He walks
Go
up
ahead,
behind
dude.
her, and our guy takes his hand, shoves it through her back.
With the hook.
With the hook. He's got these chains. If you're like a logger type thing or firefighter type thing, he's got these long chains that's got hooks on the end of them. Well, he takes the first one, he runs it through her back, out of her stomach.
Yeah.
And then he kind of like pulls it back and he like stabs her in the forehead with it.
So remember what happens. He does that, and you see her kind of reacting, and she turns at that point because she turns and looks at him.
She looks at him.
And it's almost like he's kind of pissed that she would look at him, like almost like a defiant act. So he buries that other fucking hook. He pulls it. He pulls it through the front because he put it through the back. So he grabs it from her front now because she's turned around and puts it right here.
Yeah, right in her fucking forehead.
And fucking what happens?
And then when she turns back toward the cliff area, he starts pulling the chain. He's now pulling from behind her now.
No,
he's pulling. You got to think about it. This chain is up through her stomach, up to her forehead. So if you can imagine, when he pulls the chain from behind her, it's going to pull her head down. And in the notes I even put, when he popped her in the head for that thing, I said, "Is he about to pull her head through her midsection?" And dude, when he does it, and it shows this close up of hers, like her spine.
Oh, dude, there's not even any gore in that scene.
No, it's just
I kept talking about that. You see that like knot?
You see the knot
pop up where like it all, dude. Like right now, that part. I learned because that's what made it seem so real.
Yeah,
like this is Chris Nash flexing right here. This is hey, I can direct. That's those ambient forest shots. This is him being like, but I'm also a really badass motherfucker when it comes to special effects.
Yep.
And he proved it here because I saw it. I saw what's physically impossible. I would imagine it looked like it was physically possible.
Yeah, because in my mind, when I'm watching it go down, as we're talking about this family, what he's doing is, you can imagine this girl standing there looking away from him. The hook is in her forehead, and he pulls it out of her back. It's going to pull her head down to her midsection where this hook went through originally. Now, when he pulls her, he gives you the close up of her spine, and you see it like he's pulling it. And when I'm watching it, I'm going, not possible. because of the fact of she would have fell over in my mind. I'm going like she would just tipped over. Like as soon as you started pulling it, she would just fell over. But once again, it's a fucking movie, and it's just such a fucking unique kill to where he basically pulls that chain from behind her. Her head comes down, her backbone breaks, her head comes through her midsection, out her back. Like he literally bent this bitch over as he's pulling this chain. And as a part of me goes, there's no way she would tip over. But then the next part of me catches myself, and I'm going, but what a fucking cool ass kill, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that kill, realistic, who gives a shit? The fact that it was just
it looked real. That's
did.
The one thing you can say. It looked, that's what was so crazy, because I was like, I know that's not possible. But if it was possible, that has to be very close to what the fuck it would look like.
Oh, yeah.
And the sound effects.
Oh, yeah. And one of my things, as much as I like fucked up shit, one of the things that gets me, and I don't know why, is the sound of like bones cracking. Like that little like creaking, like when you see movies like Exorcist type movies where, people get in these weird positions and they start cracking bones. That shit would get me. Like just that sound. And when he gives you that close up of when he snatches her head down and her head goes down, and then he kind of tugs it again, and you see the like the spine in the back of her neck, you can tell what's happening. It is like snapping. All those
and he pulls the head through.
Yeah, he pulls it all the way through.
You see it come through, and then he just fucking we are Spartans kicks her fucking mangled ass corpse off of the cliff.
Yeah,
but
such a cool fucking kill, because
that was because it's not like a fucked up scene. It's just a fucked up kill. And it's like he took Mortal Kombat and was like, I could film that and I could make the prosthetics to make that look very real. Yep. And by God, he fucking does it, dude.
He did. Like if he would have had like a moment where you could push a button and be like, finish her, that shit would have played through the speakers. And it was a Mortal Kombat type kill.
If that type of kill is not in a modern Mortal Kombat game, I know they do a bunch of they've done horror characters for those games. They need to get Johnny, but make sure he's got that fire mask on and put him in the game just so I can fucking do this fatality, because it is fucking ridiculous.
His finishing move needs to be like that, pulling the chick's head back through her midsection the way he does, because that was. And as I'm watching it, and I remember when you were texting me about it, I was like, this is the kill he's talking about. Like, it was just so fucking like, get past the fact, because I did it. I got caught up in the fact like she would just tip over. Like as soon as you pull, she would just fall forward. But then I stopped myself, and I'm kind of like, holy shit, he is going to bend this bitch over. Like inside out her. Pretty much.
No, and again, that could be drawn because again, I say you'll see this a lot on the negative reviews from people with the comparisons to Jason. This isn't over the top, like him swinging the sleeping bag against the tree. It's that kind of thing, but it's not done comically at all. There is nothing done over. As crazy as an exaggerated kill as it is. He does nothing exaggerated in showing it. There's nothing that seems, the kill itself is over the top, but the process that he shot it in the effect, it's not over the top. It looks like, okay, if you could really fucking do this to a person, again, I bet that's kind of what that would look like. That's fucked up. That's really fucked up to see. That's some like cartel shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so I want to get so that we're not like killing them, because we got to get to the review. I will say though, let's talk about one more kill before we review it. The sheriff, the ranger. Sorry, the ranger.
This part pissed me off.
Okay, so there was one where when he eventually gets Troy, I did like that kill. because Troy is like on the ground and he picks a boulder up and just smashes his head with it. It was quick. Yep. But I know that like when the boulder, like the one scene where it was like completely covering his head had to have been when they digitally like added it and did that. But it looked really good. So why did you not like the Ranger kill though?
I did not like the Ranger kill because the Ranger kill kind of give you a little, if you haven't seen it, when everything goes down with the Ranger, our killer dude goes out to this little shed. He turns on this piece of machinery. When I hear the machinery running, I'm like, before it even gets to it, I automatically go, I wonder if that's a log splitter. And so when he drags,
because it was a former logging site.
Yeah, and so when he drags the little Ranger dude out there to this log splitter, and that's what it is. It's a log splitter. So basically, you take a head of an axe head, and machinery wise, you put a piece of log at the end of it. It runs down through it and splits it in half.
It's like on was that a hydraulic?
Yeah, it's like a hydraulic.
Okay.
And so when he drags him out there, what I wanted was to put this Ranger dude legs spread. I wanted him to run that splitter up the crack of his ass and split him all the way up.
So, and the biggest reason why I wanted and expected that right before they get to that. So by this point, there's only two of the campers left, your final girl and one of the others. They when they escape after they've seen him kill the friends, they go to the Ranger station. The killer walks up onto him. That's how the Ranger comes into play. The Ranger shoots him with like a shotgun. And then, it looks like he's dead for a minute. He gets up. He fucking paralyzes the Ranger. He does that weird thing. He does that thing to his spine and it just
grabs it.
Dude, it sounds like someone snapping a chicken
bone.
Oh, yeah. Fucking curls my skin, dude.
Yeah.
So that's
he does why there's no cutting or nothing. He literally almost reaches down, just grabs him by the back and paralyzes him. So the Ranger dude is alive.
He's done from the neck down.
Yeah, from the neck
which
down.
Which is why I was like, if they split him, I was like, how fucked up. He can't feel that.
He can't feel nothing.
So he's just going to be bleeding out and he's not going to feel shit until they get. I thought it was about to, I was like, oh my God, this is going to overdo the other kill. This is going to get so fucked up.
Because what I got pissed off was, what made me mad was like when he gets him in there, he drags the Ranger dude in there to the log splitter. And then he puts his arm in it to cut his arm off. And I'm like, really, dude? He can't feel nothing. He's not going to feel it. But it would have been so cool if he'd have just put him on that log splitter with his legs spread and him run that log splitter right up his nutsack and split him all the way up to his fucking neck. Yeah. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be like that's
what I thought.
Yeah, I thought
that's the track that you put the log on. It looked long enough to have done that too.
Yeah, he could have. He could have literally laid him down, threw one leg over one side, one leg over the other, hit the go button, and that axe head would have split him right from the tank all the way to his fucking right at the center of his head.
I've heard it say from asshole to appetite.
Ass to appetite, baby. And that's what I wanted.
It was a nice tense scene, and it was done for tension. The sound of that machine running, and dude, he's cold as fuck too. He puts a log in there first. And lets him watch it. What he lets him watch that log.
Yep. I did like that part that he let him kind of see it. Like, this is what's coming. But there's a part of me I just knew. Like when I watched him, like, oh, he's about to split him from asshole to neck. And when
I was prepared for it. I was like, oh, fuck, this is gonna be worse than the other. How could they get worse than this? And I'm like, oh.
And I was a little disappointed when he just chopped his arm off. I'm like, you do realize you just paralyzed him from the.
He didn't even feel that.
He didn't feel none of it. He got
and then what he cut it
get chopped off, but that's about it.
Yeah, and then he cut his head off.
Yeah, and so that was kind of, I wanted him to cut him from, like I said, tank all the way up. And that would have made that kill so much better. I got annoyed also when he grabs the Ranger guy. The Ranger guy basically tells the last two standing to run, to get away.
Yes.
You see them go to the truck, they grab some shit out of the truck, like a can and shit, and they take off. The scene where the log splitter drug on a little long, in my opinion, for something that could have been, if you'd have split him from the asshole to the neck, but it was super long. That whole scene.
Well, that axe head on that hydraulic thing, it runs very slow. It's just sheer brute force and the fact that it's a sharp point that pushes it through. Yeah. So you watch that thing run 3 full times because he splits the log, then he puts the guy's arm on there and does that, then he cuts off his head. So it is a very tense scene, but by the end of it, you're like, all right, hurry the fuck up, because once you figure out he's not going to split him. Yeah, which would make sense because he's on a log splitter, so maybe it meant he wanted it to be a misdirection. By the time you do that, you're like, all right, whatever. So the scene does go on too long. I agree with you there.
I was like,
by the end of it.
Yeah, because I got tired of watching it. Once I realized that he was not going to split him right at the crack of his ass, I was like, hurry up. And
because you could have cut it down. He could have still showed the log and then set him on there and ran it to run him through. It would have shortened the scene, which was already a movie that when things are kind of chill, it already felt long, and you'd have got the kill that you wanted. I would have loved to have seen that, man.
I would have too. Like if he did let him lay there and watch the log get split. Like let him watch it.
Yes, and that had to be in there. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, and then drag him on top of it, and just the idea of this dude laying there, even though he's paralyzed, he's laying there having to see this axe head come up between his legs and split him completely in half. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I didn't get that. So when I didn't get that, I was like, come on, dude. Like, you're cutting dude's armor off. You don't even feel it. You know, what are we doing? And then I got kind of annoyed at the end because Ranger dude gave you two, the girl and the guy, a chance to get away.
Yeah.
Plenty of time, because in my mind, I'm going, when y'all ran up to the truck to take the whatever you took out of the back of it, the lights are on. So I'm wondering to myself, is the keys in the truck that you could have got in this truck and just left and got the fuck out of there? But they don't. These dumb motherfuckers hang around for some reason. And the dude that dies at the end of it before, he's
the guy that I was like, nobody seems to like him. So maybe is he a threat to Final Girl and Dickhead Troy's relationship? It's him and Final Girl left, so he's not going to fucking make it.
No.
And he doesn't. And it's a very brutal axing scene. That thing, he's just hammering that fucking axe into him. And
then again, I'm watching it going, why? This dude, it wasn't like he's the guy that took the necklace. It wasn't that guy. You've already killed Troy.
No, and Chris, the Final Girl, is wearing it. So even when he killed Troy, he didn't get it back.
Yeah.
So she's still the one with it. And the Ranger had said something about the necklace being a thing.
Yeah.
So I guess they were thinking they were going to leave it, or again, and that goes back to the fact that when it's doing shit like that, it's going to those classic, in a bad way, slasher stereotypes of like a plot hole or something kind of being hinted at, and there's no follow-up. You don't really get an answer there. People hanging around, going upstairs when it makes no sense, that kind of shit.
Yeah, and so as I'm watching it, and he's like, I did like the fact though, because the guy was like, I'm going to distract him. You got to get him to the fire tower. I'm going to distract him. When he jumps out like he's going to do something, our dude just spins around, chops him in the fucking head. Dude goes down. But then I'm like, okay, now he's going to take out the chick that's got his necklace. When he starts hacking away at this dude, I can't figure out, like, why are you spending all this time on this one guy who didn't take your necklace? He didn't do none of this shit, but you're just hacking away. And then the girl comes up and she's watching it, and she does nothing except take the necklace off.
Yeah.
And kind of puts it on a fuel can, because their plan was to draw him out to this tower, set him on fire, whatever. She puts
the ranger had like an idea to kind of end it.
Yeah,
but at this point, she's like, "I'm the only one alive. Fuck this shit. Here's your necklace. I'm gonna run." She finally makes the right decision.
Finally, but I'm just sitting there like when I'm watching, I'm going, "Why the fuck are y'all still even in the like?" My ass would have been gone. Like as soon as that ranger said, "Y'all go," and he's there with the killer, like you would have seen nothing but the taillights, baby. I would have been checked the fuck out. And
I get it. Unless they were trying to follow through with the Rangers' plan still, but I'm right there with you. I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt, and I think that's like let's put a fucking review on this or like a rating on this because they again, I mean, you can even hear how divided I am. Like there's shit that was really bad.
Did you see after I watched it, I kind of looked at a couple things. A lot of people giving a lot of bad reviews for the very end of it, to where she's like out there with the lady in the truck. And
So yeah, real quick, when she does escape from the killer, she gets hurt in the process running through the woods, and a lady picks her up once she makes it to a road. Her and this lady have a conversation for a while. I forget the lady's name, but she was in one of the Friday the 13th movies apparently back in the day, and has done acting since and stuff. Hold on, I actually had the cast list here. Lauren Marie Taylor. She was in Friday the 13th Part 2.
Oh, I didn't know that.
She was in some other stuff too. And they conversate. You it's kind of building up the idea that this woman may not be as safe as she thinks. Like this woman may be about to hand her over. She's kind of weird, but as spoiler alert, nothing.
And that's what I was expecting.
It just ends.
I was waiting on it to be like she's like the mother of this fucked up killer, and that's what I was waiting on. I was waiting on it to be revealed.
Something,
and it gets to the end of it, and it gives you nothing.
Well, because then she's that wound that the final girl has, Chris, is bleeding so bad. She's like, we got to pull over. I got to treat that now. So then you're like, oh shit. She's saying that she's got to do this because this girl's going to bleed out before they can get her to the hospital. Is the killer going to walk up? Yeah. But the one thing it was been kind of showing was that the killer is walking at normal speeds everywhere. He's not magic and appearing. So they've been driving on a road for half an hour or more. It wouldn't make much sense, but that's where I figured it was going to be. And that's what it's kind of hinting at. And then it doesn't do it. And then just credits.
The one part at the end of it that bugged me though was like that one part at the very end. She's like asking like, "Hey, wake up, wake up." When then she finally pulls the truck over, and when she pulls the truck over, our final girl is all of a sudden awake, and she's like, "What are we doing? Like, what are we doing?" And she's like, "I need to, I gotta stop the bleeding on your leg." And I was just been like, why this bitch can't stop her own bleeding from her leg? Like, why you got to get out of the truck? And I'm just sitting there going, like, the ending of it was just like,
well, yeah, because they just needed to like put a tourniquet on it, basically.
Yeah, that's all it needed. She could have
put before she passed out. You should have been like, "Yo, you need to rip the sleeves off your shirt or something real quick. You ain't gonna make it to the hospital if you can't do that." But there was no attempt. It's not like she was experiencing heavy blood loss and couldn't do it. Like she just kind of like was like, "I'm tired. I'm gonna sleep now."
Yeah, but it was just
may have been from blood loss.
All of a sudden, she was awake when the lady was halfway in front. When she comes around the truck to like, she's like, now she's awake, and she's like, "What are you doing?" Like, bitch, I tried to wake you up. Like, take this belt, wrap your leg up. She could have done something, but no. And it shows her kind of looking out into the woods, and she's like, you're expecting her to see something.
Yeah,
it's just nothing.
Nope. And then it's credits.
Roll.
So who do you want to go first, man? I'll leave it up to you.
You're going first, bro. You're going first.
All right.
What are we fucking marrying or killing?
So this one is it's got to be a fuck for me. And honestly, I did it. It is like the pussy choice out for me because there was things in this movie that made me want to fucking kill it and kill it hard and all that. And then there was things in this movie that made me want to marry it really bad. This is a fucked up friends. This is a fucked up friends with benefits. It's an abusive relationship.
Yeah, you're
neither party is good for the other party, but we still call like on a quarterly basis to like do some anger banging, and then not talk to each other again for 3 months. I still the walking shot beautifully, very too much of it. It went on too long. I would love to have seen a movie with just about, I don't know, a good 30% reduction. I'm not even trying to be greedy of the amount of time I see this killer simply walking.
Yeah.
And I wonder how it would have felt then. And then again, the artistry and how that was done, demonstrating how good of a director he is and how he could beautifully set a shot. Then you got the slasher element that's there, and that is by the numbers. All of your characters are stereotypes. The dialogue is shit. You've got a couple of good kills in there. You got some questionable kills in there. You have one awesome kill, which, just like a lot of slasher movies, always had that one big kill everyone was going to talk about in that one. That's that scene, and it works, and it's fucking amazing. So, dude, I have to give it a fuck because of that. And I mean, I leaned heavy all way, and I mean, I'm taking kind of the coward's way out, because if I marry it, that's the stuff I didn't like a lot. Yeah. And the stuff that I did like a lot. And I hope he makes it, either he gets a chance. I'm with the success and stuff. I really want him to try another movie. He's very talented in that, very awesome with the effects. This thing was just a lot of cool ideas, and he didn't sew it together properly. And this is like a fucked up voodoo, like fucking trying to reanimate a person, and it's just spare parts. Your spare parts, bud.
Yeah.
What's yours, man?
I am, and like we had talked before we started recording, because we get on here and we catch up, because we just bullshit for 40 minutes or so before we start recording. And even earlier today, I'm trying to think to myself, like, how am I going to rate this thing? And I was on the borderline of it. For me, it didn't get to a Mary. It definitely was going to be in that friends with benefits, or it was going to be the sea donkey that I didn't want to see again. But for me, for this one, it's got to be a fuck. It's got to be a like you said, it's a dirty fuck. It's not it's one of those that, like you said, you just, it's that one that you're going to be able to call up every now and then when you had a bad day at work and you just want to relieve some frustration. And if there's some slapping and choking going, that's okay. It's that, because it gave me, was there too much following of the killer? Yes. I feel like that there was a lot of that. But you gave me some fucking badass kills, and I'm a fan of those. You gave me a different kill that I haven't seen before. Like when you bent old yoga girl over and you turn her basically inside out with her fucking head,
I will not forget that kill.
No,
I will not forget that kill. And me and you both, we've seen a lot of fucking kills and a lot of crazy and inventive and different kills. This one is handled fan-fucking-tastically.
And when it comes to that kill, because after me and you after I watched it, I kind of looked at it like some reviews and stuff, and people talk about that kill, like, oh, the yoga kill. And everything that went down with the yoga kill was so fucking cool. But the thing that got me in the yoga kill was the part where it literally shows her spine breaking.
Yeah,
like
that.
All the other shit where he like plunges his hand through her back all the way out her front, all that gory type shit, cool, got it. But when you showed me, like when you snatched her head forward and you showed me that spine kind of like snap, and
because nothing even breaks the skin.
No,
there's no blood there. Everything else is just straight gore and sloppy.
Yeah.
It's what you expect. That and that's where I said, like, that is insanely smart practical effect work for effectiveness and director to think about that, because without that, I don't. Like I said, he showed how the anatomy would act if you were able to do that, and that's part of it. he could have showed like the top of the spine come out because
Popping
again,
out
it's
the
not.
skin.
It's
Yeah.
But that dude, that is one of subtly the most fucking grossest things I've ever fucking seen, dude. And
Yep. And
that's what I think about. That's honestly what I think about when I think about it. I don't even think about. I mean, that's not the one. The one thing that stands out is right when that thing pops.
yeah.
Because I'm like, oh fuck! I bet she felt the fuck out of that.
Yeah.
Like,
because she was still alive through all of this. Like when he pushes his hand through her back, her stomach, she turns and looks at him. He throws the little hook into her forehead. She spins around. And at this point, she's still alive. And he pulls that chain back. And it's just that part where it gives you the close up for the back of her neck. Where like if someone were to pull you, like if you could bend over right now and bend your head forward, you can feel those bones, like your spine in the back of your neck. And when he pulls it and you see those, and I like you said, I love the fact that nothing burst through the skin. It wasn't like when you break an arm or leg and the bone comes popping out. You just see it snap. And you know that
under the skin.
Yeah,
and that sound.
So good. Because it was something that I haven't seen before, and I am a fan of a good kill.
Yeah.
And that one was so, like we talked about earlier, so Mortal Kombat fucking finisher. And he did. But yeah, it is definitely like I said, it's a fuck for me. It is because of the special kills in it. It was, and I like a good campy slasher. It just kind of gives you that feel of like watching, just like when everybody would watch the Jason movies.
Yeah.
Halloween
people
movies.
Still watch them because they know that they're technically shitty movies, but they like that about it. And that's why, and I was checking to see because, and I thought I knew I did, and I had to actually get it as an import. Most people probably don't know of this movie. It's called Elephant. It's by Gus Van Sant. It was a very controversial movie when it came out because it was about a school shooting.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a fantastic movie that I love, but this is a very slow movie.
Oh,
and I saw this cited when there was actually some like production notes and stuff like that. You know how they have those on IMDb and Wiki. And I was reading about it that the director talked about. This was one of the movies he said inspired the way he shot this. And just by any chance, if the director, Chris Nash, ever hears this or someone wants to bring it up when they're watching this, it worked in Elephant because Elephants, that was the way the movie was the entire time.
Yeah.
This movie I wanted ultimately, and what made me put in the middle is because I was like, I'm more so than you. And even Joe, when she'll do them, I like art house horror when it's done good. It gets me. I'm one of those filmy dudes who likes that kind of shit. So the walking parts I liked. They were pretty, but it didn't blend with the rest of the film. It just didn't marry well with the slasher thing. Honestly, just kept pulling me out. Even the really over the top violent kills would have fit. So I think if someone's like, yeah, but he was trying to do the slow, the slower type cinema like this. This movie works for me because it does it the whole time. The movie's meant to be slow. Everything's slow and it's uncomfortable. This, man, it kept like it was trying to switch gears, but it was slipping gears. And like, yeah, dude, like again, everybody who loves it, I get it. Everybody who hates it, I get it. Everybody who's down the middle is probably like us and they can't decide if they like it. They love it more than they hate it.
Before we got on here and started recording, I was looking at some of the reviews, and a lot of people disliked it. I've read a lot more shit of people just complaining about like, oh, we were just following the killer through the woods for like 90 fucking minutes. You weren't following the killer for 90 fucking minutes, people.
No.
It did seem drawn out. There is some parts where it's like, it was kind of long, but the whole thing is not about you just following the killer for 90 minutes behind him with a camera. It's not like that,
No.
And it had some good creative kills in it. It gave you that feel of like watching an old Jason movie of being out in the woods and somebody just creepy all of a sudden is just there. But yeah, it is. I had a good time with it. And if a movie can give me a good time, I'm all for it. I like it. And so yeah, that's why for me I gotta fuck it because I don't want to watch it every day.
Yeah.
But if I had somebody over and I want to be like, let me show you one of the coolest kills I've seen in a horror movie.
For sure.
Let me show
if
you
you're
this.
Go ahead.
But no, I was just gonna be like, let me show you some yoga.
Dude, if you're a fan of, if you're anybody who's just a fan of like just inventive horror kills and practical effects and special effects, it's worth your time just for that.
Yeah.
That kill is it's a technically impressive kill. It looks cool. It's a badass kill. It's an awesome kill. I trying to blend like art house horror, ambient horror, slow horror with 80s slasher tropes. If it does work, if it can work, it doesn't work here, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And to be honest, with the way that how good his film quality was, it didn't need that. I think that it brought it down because, at the end of the day, it could have just been like, oh, it's another kind of artsy thing. But have you watched the trailers since you've watched it?
No, I still haven't watched any trailers.
You shouldn't go back because the trailer makes it seem like it's an arty, kind of artsy fartsy slasher. And it is until the other characters pop up. And then these characters have no real reason for being there other than being just the most classic, basic horror movie tropes that any of these critics would talk shit about on a movie that's not as nicely shot. They'd be like, oh, the characters were predictable, all of that. That applies here.
Yeah,
everybody's fucking predictable. This thing is fucking rain puddle deep. There's no deepness to this thing.
No, not at all.
It's just but again, definitely you I don't think you've seen anything like it before. I can't think of anything. I can think of some stuff that's kind of in the vein of, like I said, Man Bites Dog earlier, but it's shot completely different. Other than, like I said, the fact that you're following the killer around, like kind of during his day while he's working. I guess he's on his shift.
Yeah, and for me in this one, because it gets you to that point to where the characters are so generic, where you could almost pick them out from the get go. Like, you're one of the first ones to go. You're going to make it to the end. You're not going to make it, and for that reason, it was just that it was predictable in a way where you just kind of could pick. Like, I kind of know how this is going, but
and a lot of you said people talk shit about the ending, and the ending was done again because it was playing to the horror movie tropes of like setting up a sequel or something like they do with those slasher movies. Like, oh, she's gonna take the girl to the killer. Well, that doesn't happen. Then they pull over. Oh, they have pulled over on the side of the road. The killer's going to come up behind them, and then they don't.
And nothing happens.
Yeah. So yeah, dude, it was. Man, I got so close to wanting to marry this thing, and I got so close to wanting to kill this thing. And honestly, I think I would have probably killed it if we would have reviewed it within a day and a half of me initially watching it. I think I may would have settled on kill. If we'd have done it yesterday, I may would have gave it a marry.
Yeah.
I settled at fuck because I was tired of thinking about it. I was like, this is the definition of a fuck. I was like, I'm thinking too hard of it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was thinking, because when I watched it the very first time, I was straight up killing.
Did you watch it more than once?
No, I only watched it once.
Oh, okay. Because I know sometimes you do. So I didn't.
Yeah, sometimes I watch it twice. This I only watched once. And when I got done with it, I was kind of like, as cool as the kills are, still like it's a kill for me. I'm not going to watch it. And then I got to thinking about it, and I was reading some reviews and stuff like that, and some of the stuff people had issues with. It really wasn't a big deal to me,
No.
And for me, because I'm shallow people. I am mud hole deep. I'm shallow. Like, you give me a couple good kills, you will pull me over to the fucking side. Or if you give me some boobies and some good shit like that, you will drag me over to the fuck me side. But for me, this one, it did that because of some of the kills and because it was different. It was something you gave me that I like, a good cheesy campy horror type movie, and you took me out in the woods, you took me out there and you gave me some, shitty cell phone service. We got, you got us this killer out there. We got us some random teenagers with some random chicks.
We got magical jewelry.
Yeah, the only thing you didn't give me was some boobies. If that would have been,
because even with the lesbian broads at the lake, everybody stayed. They had their swimsuits on. That was it. No,
that was it.
This one.
No.
You
didn't give me anything. And if y'all would have gave me a little something of that little lesbian scene at the dock, y'all might have got a Mary out of me. If you'd have gave me a little bit more.
And see, there's yet another scene where he's kind of like in a typical 80s slasher or 90s slasher. Even if they had put that in there, you would have 110% got a girl on girl sex scene in there. Yeah. So again, it's one of those like, oh man, these lesbians are about to strip off and they're going to start finger banging in this pond or this lake, and he's going to get them both. No, he does get them both, but that doesn't happen. No. And so I get and that's why I think when anybody, again, there's plenty of reasons to dislike this, but a lot of the reviews are just like, oh, it's really like a ripoff of Fright. Yes, it is a massive ripoff of Friday the 13th. He's not trying to hide that though.
Yeah.
I just don't think it works with the art house stuff that he tries as well. Yeah. I like his art house stuff. I don't like campy slasher shit. Joe, you can tell, you go through these, you can tell which ones Joe picked.
Yeah.
There'd be a lot of them that you would pick too.
Yeah.
Like she loves a good, like shitty camp, at summer camp horror movie. She's down there all day. So that part didn't, but I like the artsy shit. So even me, like I said, I love those shots. They were just a little too long and they felt longer than they actually were, which is never a good thing. If I watched a 94-minute movie and I thought it was easily at a 2 hour, maybe a little over, that's what lingered with me. And that's why I was so mad originally. I was like, I think I'm about to kill this thing because, dude, I got really tired of seeing this fucker's ass. Like, I don't care how well lit the shot was. I was tired of it.
Yeah, you do follow him around a lot.
Yes.
And, but that's it, people. We got us.
Yes.
Both of
double
us
fuck
are fucking me and John are Eiffel Towering this bitch.
Yes.
And high-fiving it across the pond.
What is that? Some Eskimo brothers?
Hey,
we'll
go with that. They just be like, man, they Eskimo the shit out of that movie. And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I fuck with this movie. I can't wait for his follow-up and shit. I definitely think everybody should see it. There's going to be shit everybody likes in it, and there's going to be a lot of shit you don't like too. And that's an interesting watch for nothing else.
And I like the fact because with it, the way they ended it kind of leaves you going like, what the fuck is going on? And it gives him a chance now to hone his craft. I want you to, hey, dude,
you want a sequel? You think he should do a sequel?
Yes.
Okay.
I think there's more to it. I think there should be another one. Show me that you can top a girl getting twisted inside out. Show me, maybe there's more to it, because I feel like the way it ended, the dude didn't die.
No, he got the locket. He got everything he needed.
Yeah,
he's presumably right back where he was buried at. It's hanging back on the thing, I would guess.
But he got his locket back. But for him to be in the ground and put to silence, does somebody have to put him in the ground?
Yeah, or does he bury himself?
Have to keep that locket there? Like I just don't know if he can go back up to the little run down a little shack and like crawl back in the ground.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm ready to go back to sleep now. I feel like somebody's got to do that. And so there's definitely a chance for something else for this one. And
well, we need another horror trope to bring in. Put in a Violent Nature Part 2, and it's a voodoo curse. There's got to be a voodoo witch doctor somewhere that cursed it, and it's actually controlling it, controlling Johnny. Killer little mongoloid Johnny.
Yeah, the only downside is the fact that he does have such a typical Johnny name.
Yes.
That's the downside. Like, you could have had a cool name. You're not a Jason. You're not a Freddy. But
even Freddy sounds tougher than Johnny.
It does.
They in that conversation, and I know we got to wrap it up. Like it makes it sound like I don't know if this guy was 6 or like a regular 6-year-old, or was 16 and slow.
Mhm.
The way they do that, and so that's what makes the Johnny name feel like so squishy for this thing, man. I don't know. We can. It's the same things we've been saying for a while. We gotta let them go, but I definitely recommend it, man. You haven't seen much like it. I'll give you that. And if you have Shudder, it's going to be on there eventually, and you can watch it on that platform.
Yep, I watched it on Amazon and bought it on Amazon because that's they sucker me in every week when I watch a movie. But yeah, go check it out. If you're following along, if you're listening to us on one of the podcast platforms, like it, follow along, leave a review. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, because I'm telling you, people, if you get me to 100, it's gonna be a drunken party on this bitch. I'll go and tell you right now. Like I said, we halfway there. So
over half.
Over halfway there, man. Like you will see a sloppiness on this show when we finally get there. But yeah, check us out on the website, frightflickfmkpodcast.com. You can leave reviews, you can leave voice reviews apparently, and I'm waiting on somebody to leave one of those because I can see how it works. I'm curious. But yeah, if you've liked it, if you followed along, I appreciate it. Welcome to the shit show family. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this week's episode. What's that again? In a Violent Nature?
In a Violent Nature.
Yeah, I'm terrible with remembering shit. Yeah. In a Violent Nature 2024, brand spanking fucking new.
Yes.
If you've watched it, if you've checked it out, if you disagree with us, if you want to talk shit about it, hey, jump in the comments, let us know what you feel about it. We welcome all of it. We got thick skin here, people. Between me and John, you ain't gonna hurt our fucking feelings. I promise you.
I've been wrong way too many times to get hurt by it anymore.
Yeah, I've been wrong many times, and I'm so fucking shallow now where it's like I don't care. Like you're not gonna hurt our feelings. But hey, once again, appreciate you listening. Appreciate you giving us another week. Appreciate you taking the time out of y'all's busy schedule. But we've reached that time of the show, people, where I need you all to reach over and I need you to grab your drinks. I need you to gather up your shit and put your chairs away. I need you to get the fuck out of here.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Monsters!
All you have left is my desire.
My name is Frankenstein! That man's got Mars!
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick!
I ate his liver with some father beans and nice meat. This ass is
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive!
Here's Johnny. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Welcome to the debauchery.